Hello everyone, as you can see from the title of this video, SAM.gov is broken. Is it really the way to do government contracting? Is everyone using SAM.gov, and is that how they are securing contracts? In this video, we're going to break down all the issues that you face when you are using SAM.gov, but also we're going to find what are the other alternatives. What else can we do to get ahead of the competition and have an easier system to work with when it comes to bidding on government contracts? Right before we get started, actually, if you can leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, that way you'll get all the information and tips and tricks on bidding government contracts. Let's get started. Now, why do I say SAM.gov is broken? 70% of contracts are won by incumbents already. So they are not new players, which makes only 30% of contracts accessible to new players. But how can you compete with those current incumbents? And then also on SAM.gov, the average time to respond on an RFP is 30 days. In what world do you have enough time to prep an entire bid package, whether it's the proposal, understanding the compliance assessment, understanding if you are even a good fit to this contract within 30 days. That is, if you find the contract on the first day it drops. Government contracting is a $700 billion market annually. So of course, there should be a way for us to bid on those contracts. And this is the strategy step by step. Issue number one is that you will find out too late. Winning actually starts 18 months before the solicitation is on SAM.gov. Because around that time, that's when the current contract is about to expire and the incumbent kind of knows that after this period, the contract will be up for releasing again. In the 12 months out, this is where the recompete signal is starting to emerge. 6 months out, you start building relationships with the government, and then the day of posting is the day you bid on the contract rather than knowing about it. See how big of a difference of advantage that gives you? Now, another reason on SAM.gov is that the search is obviously broken. Let's take this example. Because SAM.gov only matches you with the word that you search for example, if you search for IT services, you are only going to get contracts that have IT services in their title. That is the exact phrase that they need to have in their title for you to find that contract. But you missed on all the contracts that have network support, infrastructure management, tech operations, cloud services, etc. Whereas when you're using a smart search, you search for the term IT services and you will get all the related contracts by meaning. So then you will find those network support, infrastructure management, tech operations, and cloud, etc. That is a huge difference because you miss on all the opportunities that you don't know the right keywords for. The second issue is that you are flying blindly. What does that mean? You don't know who currently holds the contract or who held the contract before. You don't know what it pays. You just think you're going to send a quote and call it a day, which will decrease your win probability by a lot. You don't have the competitive context. You don't have who are the competition in this pool. You don't know your potential competitors. You don't know the ages, spans, or patterns. Just nothing. You're bidding blindly. So I drafted this 5-step federal contracting strategy that should help a lot with understanding what are the processes like. 18 to 24 months out before the award is the budget and planning. Then you do market research, RFIs, industry days, vendor outreach, networking with the government, understanding those source odds, the forecasting, the government budgets. And third, that's when you start actually going after pre-solicitations and source out notices. So you engage with those. And then the solicitation, which is the RFP that is posted on SAM.gov. Lastly, there is the stage post-award, which is award and debrief. And that is the part where most contractors only enter at step 4. Budget and planning, which is stage number 1. Agencies plan spending 1 to 2 years in advance, so they know what they're spending their money on. And 0% of this stage is visible on SAM.gov. Stage number 2, market research. Responding to RFIs, even short response get you on the agency's radar. Do not underestimate those agency responses. Attend industry days, meet the program officer face-to-face. This relationship is gold. Meet with the contracting officer. Even if you cannot attend physically, make sure you contact the contracting officer. To them that you are interested, but you can make and introduce your company. And lastly, submit your capability statement. It could be in that email. Just show the agency what you do before they write the requirements. At the end of the day, you always want to influence the requirements rather than respond to them. Now, stage number 3, when it comes to pre-solicitations, if you respond, you influence the final RFP language, the set-aside type, and the evaluation criteria, which your solicitation becomes the mental model. But if you skip it, you will receive the same RFP as everyone else with no advantage, and you are reacting instead of shaping. Then the RFP drops on SAM.gov. This is where most contractors find out about the opportunity. You have 30 to 45 days to compete against someone who is preparing for 18 months. So let's take a look at the stats. Your win rate for first-time pursuer with no prior relationships is at 5%. It's 30 days as an average time to write a competitive proposal. And lastly, 70% win rate for incumbent at this RFP stage. This is where award and debrief. Very important. Just because you lost the bid does not mean the job is done. If you win, you start performing immediately or whatever the contract requires. If you lose, however, request a debrief within 3 business days or within 3 days. Learn exactly why you lost. You need more data points. The more data points you have, the more you will understand why you lost, which will increase your bidding odds next time you bid. You have more odds of winning now because you know why you lost, so you will avoid that mistake. So the difference between the winners and the losers, it really comes down to this research before they pursue. Who holds it down? The incumbent name, contract value, performance history, when does it expire, exact recompete date and option periods, what did they pay, historical award value and modification, and is it worth pursuing? Not just that, but also you want to see, is the agency or this department department in the government have the tendency to change their vendors, or have they been stuck to the same vendor for the past 10 years, which is what we call it recompetes. 80% of federal contracts are recompeted. The government buys in cycles. The government demand is always there, and they buy the same thing over and over. So the ideal time to start is 12 to 18 months before, and the research part costs you $0. You're not really actively hiring sources and resources to write the bid or to do anything of that. So start reacting and start winning. You can either use SAM.gov or federal data or the federal spending website, or you can use a tool like SamSearch. I'll walk you through how to find a recompete on SamSearch right now and how to use the smart search. First thing first, you head to the search page. From here, you can either search for federal contracts, state and local, dips, but you could also search for recompetes and forecasts. This is where the play is. Let's look for IT solutions under smart search. And now we will see upcoming recompete, Department of Homeland Security, Calibra Data Governance, Software, Maintenance, Training, and Technical Service. We see that this contract is expiring in 5 months. So there is currently a vendor, there is currently an incumbent on this contract. When you click on it, you will have all the information, how much it was awarded, a smart summary generated by the AI of what this recompete is about, how many offers it got last time. It got 4 offers, which is a little bit competitive for a contract that is $1.7 million. You have all the information right here. It was computed on SAM.gov. And you also have all the information about the incumbent right here, their company name, UEI number, location, phone number, and their classification as well. You also have access to the awarding office contacts, not necessarily the contracting officer, who in the government is responsible for this contract or for this work. So you also have their contact information. And at the bottom, you will have the scores. So we tell you it's 39 out of 100 readiness score. What this means, it's outside the optimal window and all the other information right here. On the other side, you have your historical buying pattern score. And you see the repeat buying pattern right here is 100%. So we know 100% this contract will be up for release again, because the government, they have been releasing the same solicitation over and over. The competition rate is 100%. It's a highly competitive market. The vendor turnover, 85.7%. What this tells me, as a new vendor, I have a lot of odds and I do have chance to break into this market and actually bid on this contract, because the turnover has been very high from the government. I can tell that they are not really stuck to one vendor. And at the bottom, I will have my competitive advantages as my business, the risks I have to be careful about, and the next steps recommendation for my business. Let's take a look at another recompete. National Library of Medicine Digital Assets, IT Help Desk Support recompete. It was a $1.24 million. All the information right here. It's ending in 10 months. Got 2 offers last time. We have the current incumbent. Here's all the information about this incumbent right here. And if we scroll down again, 63 out of 100, readiness score 58 out of 100, information, time window. Vendor turnover is very low right here. It's 14%. So if I am a newcomer to the sector, I will step back from bidding on this recompete. So again, start reacting and start winning. Proactive bidding is the way to go. SAM.gov was built to publish contracts. Intelligence tools like SamSearch, they are meant to help you win them. To recap everything, one last slide here, I'll show you early versus late, the real difference. Only 6 months out, you'll have the chance to meet the program manager, shape the requirement, and build the relationship. However, if you're seeing the contract the day it's posted, you scramble to understand the RFP, you write a generic proposal, and you compete cold against the incumbent. Government contracting essentially is sales, and people buy from people they trust and they know. If you have any questions, please drop them below. And again, subscribe to the channel and like this video, and thank you for watching.